So this is how I do a purl through the back loop. This is the eastern mount, so my stitches have a right leaning stitch mount where the leading leg is behind, it's behind the needle. So to do my purl, I come with my yarn above my needle on the right hand, and I actually just pull that stitch open. I lay the yarn over it, and then I just push it through. So I just pull it open, lay the yarn over, and then I just push it through like that. So I think of purl and push. Purl and push, just like that. And sometimes it can be just a little tricky. This one I've split the yarn, so it's a little funny. But you just come through, pull it open, and lay the yarn across that opening, and then push it through with your needle. Just like that. And I find that for me the benefit of doing my purling in the back, I do my knit stitches in the back and I do my purls in the back, and that gives me a right leaning eastern stitch mount for both my knits and my purls. So they're always going to be mounted the same direction instead of alternating, which when you do one in the front and one in the back, you're alternating your stitch mounts. And I like mine to just go both in the same direction, which if you use English continental style knitting, where you work in the front, you work both your knits and your purls in the front, you have a left leaning or western stitch mount for both your knits and purls. They just lean to the left, and here mine will all lean to the right. And so I prefer the way the fabric turns out when the stitch mounts are both going the same way. So that was the purl in the back, and this is the knit stitch in the back. Here, there's two ways of doing this, and I actually do a clockwise. You can see it's clockwise. I do a clockwise wrap, which is kind of a yarn over in crochet, and then I pull it through and slide that stitch off. And what that does, because it's a clockwise wrap, and I do a clockwise wrap with my purls, I'm going to get a eastern stitch mount when I turn it around on the purl side. I'll still be going to the right both times, and I'll be doing all clockwise wraps. And when I cast on, I also cast on doing a clockwise, so if I do the long tail, I'll do a clockwise wrap, and that gives me an eastern stitch mount for my cast on row. And then I create the rolled edge on this side, and let me see if I can turn my work around here without losing anything. I get a purled edge on this side because after I cast on, I do a purl row, and so then I get that nice neat rolled edge on the knit side, which is great, especially if I put a crochet border on it, which I love to do. So again, here my yarn is behind my needle, and I'm inserting, and I'm doing almost like a yarn over in crochet, and I'm pulling it through, and that is my knit behind the needle eastern right leaning stitch mount. And the thing I love actually about this is if I were to do a ribbing where I'd have to alternate between my knit and my purl stitches, I'm behind the needle for both. I don't go back and forth. I just stay behind the needle, and the only difference really is here I'm doing knit stitches, and if I were doing a rib and I needed to do a knit and then I needed to do a purl, I would just move my needle under the yarn and then come back over. So it's really, this is the only real movement instead of moving my yarn back and forth. So I really like it, and I thought I would share it. and I can't actually see my camera. Can't see if I'm in my camera. I'm hoping I'm in my camera. I'm trying to make it the best I can so you can see it. But for me, this turned out to be a great technique because I was a crocheter for so long, like 30 years or something, like a really long time. And I didn't pick up knitting very well when I tried some other methods. And even when I tried combination or continental, I still was having trouble. Oops, that's not right. I think that's, see if I can pick that back up and try that one again. Yeah, that one, I split the yarn there. When I tried those other two, continental or combination, I was ending up either having a twisted stitch or I was having alternating stitch mounts. And so I'm still learning tension. I'm a novice knitter. You can see I was really tight when I started this project. This is just a washcloth or a hand towel or something like that. You know, it's practice for me. But you can see I've loosened up as I've continued. This is where I cast on and I was really, really tight, and now my knitting is loosening up the more I work on it. So it's growing, and that's just practice for me learning. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.